Yo, what's up everyone on the channel? This is take two because the last video I said a bad word. So I have to redo it. But anyway, and I'll give you a quick summary of why I don't curse in these videos or try not to say any provocative things is um, because you can curse and still say provocative things. But the reason why I don't is because YouTube requires YouTubers to make videos that are kid friendly, and you have to state that they're either kid friendly or not kid friendly. So I don't want to deal with that. So I just be a millennial and don't curse and don't say provocative things or try not to. But anyway, this video is about Zelda, the Breath of the Wild. The game is amazing. I give it easy 10 out of 10. There are so many things I love about the game. One thing that I will say that they kind of copied from Assassin's Creed is the waypoints, except in this game they call them towers. And when you collect the tower, like I know in Assassin's Creed, you go get a waypoint and it unlocks more in that area. And on I think the new Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you unlock the waypoint and it opens up what's in that area. But I know that's how it is for, like, it expands the area so you can see everything in that area as far as the landscape and everything, which the topography, which is like how they do the landscape, the mountains and stuff like that. They did a really good job on Assassin's Creed, but they also did a really good job on Breath of the Wild on that. But anyway, on Breath of the Wild, Zelda Breath of the Wild, or The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, it's a long statement for a game, but you keep having itches everywhere. You find a waypoint or a viewpoint or a tower is what they call them, towers, and it like opens up the area, and you can see where everything is. Otherwise, you'll just be scouting around and you don't know where you are in the game. Especially if you're trying to find a shrine to get the spirit orbs. But anyway, I have spent about 60 to 70 hours of playing that game. And every minute, every second of that game, some of it has been wasted by me, like, playing the game but being on my phone. Or, like, normally when I'm on my phone playing that game, or playing any game, I'm trying to look up tips or guidelines or a guide of how to do a certain thing, because I've had to do that in this game because I couldn't figure out the game. I love the game because they added in a lot of mathematical puzzles, and you have to really think about how. Now, some of them I just cheated and looked it up online and figured out how to do it because I couldn't figure it out. But that's because I was getting tired of. I was probably one of those late nights. I was just getting tired because I'd stay up every night for the past week. Last week I stayed up like every day for till like 3, anywhere from 3 to 5 a.m. I think one night I stayed up till 12, but just not all night, like 12 a.m. Like I just stayed till 12. I didn't stay up all night because I didn't want to. I was tired. But either way, I have pretty much finished the game, and I finished one of the DLCs because there's 2 DLCs, and for some reason for Nintendo you can't buy them separately. You have to buy them together. But it was only $20, so that's fine. Because one of the trials is it's called the Trial of the Sword, or the Trail of the Sword, and you have to go through like 51 levels. I think it's 51 levels. I read about it online. You have to go through like 51 levels of like. You just attack. You basically go in there. You go in there with no weapons, no armor, and no shield, and you just have to scavenge what you find and kill each enemy. And it's like a box of enemies, and you just progress through each level. It's really cool how they did it. And at the end, I think it increases the Master Sword power. But I mean, to me, it's like I'll probably try it today, but I don't know. I thought the other one was more fun, where it's the Champion of Ballads, or the Ballad of Champions. you end up following this like Rito or this bird around, and he gives you clues by singing songs, and um, it's really fun. And at the end of the whole thing, you end up getting like a motorbike. It's so cool. And the way that you don't fuel it up with gas, because I mean, if you know Zelda, they don't really. That's not really modern. Zelda is like an old type of game as far as the setting of the timeline. It's an older, like an ancient type of game. But so you fuel the motorbike with ancient parts, which is what the bike is made out of, and you get that from like guardians or bosses that you defeat. But anyway, it's so cool. Honestly, I thought that the bike would go a little bit faster than it did, or than it does, and you would think like, oh, the more fuel you put in it, the more faster to go. But nah, it's not like real life. But not that you go faster when you put more gas in your car, but your car runs better on a full tank than it does on a less than 1/4 tank. But you get what I'm saying. The bike is cool, and I don't really know if everything I did was worth it just for the bike. I mean, I feel like that I had to do it didn't take that long. It took me like maybe 6 to 8 hours to do it, but I still feel like that they could have done less or given you more, which they do give you other stuff you can do with the DLCs. Like they give you the first thing that you can find is a ancient bridle and ancient mane for your horse, and the bridle, or not the bridle, the saddle, or the bridle. The bridle and the saddle. The saddle basically makes it to where your horse can appear anywhere in the game that the game allows it to appear, and you don't have to be around your horse. Like if you're in a plain grassy field all the way across the map, your horse can, if the game will allow you to, it'll appear in front of you. And then the bridle basically makes it so you can give your horse like 2 extra whips when you're galloping or whatever. But anyway, and there's some like new armor sets you can get, and this is for both of the so I realized that the medallion, which is one of the DLC extras you can get in the game, it basically makes it to where this is actually pretty useful, which I actually used it, where you can put the mountain medallion anywhere on the ground, and if you go somewhere, like let's say you put it on top of a mountain and you can shield surf down a snowy mountain, and let's say you shield surf all the way down, but you don't want to like load back up to another shrine to get close to where you were. You just put the medallion down, and it's a spawn point. You just spawn back to that medallion, you're right there. I mean, yeah, you have to go through the loading screen. It's not anything that's fast. I think if you're traveling across the map, I feel like it always takes longer to travel across the map than if you're traveling somewhere that's like right next to you, only because like the game has already preloaded that area faster than it would preloading the game all the way across the map. I will say one thing I didn't like too much about the game was that there were some like lag in it. Like the FPS rate was the frames per second. If y'all don't know what FPS means, it went down because like depending on what was going on, and there was just too much the game couldn't handle. It would lag the game. Like when you go in the Lost Woods with the Deku Tree, it like lags the game when you get around the Master Sword pedestal, and it's like I was like, what the heck is this? And it would only stop if you just stopped, or if you went to an area that wasn't so much going on. But other than that, the game was great. 10 out of 10. I'm kind of treating it like a Netflix game. Like every Zelda game is the same. You beat Ganon and you move on, but there's no post game. Like the only post game is you going back to the last save you had and then just enjoying the game without defeating Ganon. So that's why I've said I've pretty much done everything but that one DLC, find all the extra treasures, and then finish the shrines, which some of the shrines I don't really care for. But yeah, I really enjoyed the game, and I like it a lot because one aspect of it has a lot of puzzles, and you really have to think about it. I kind of cheated on some of them. I just looked them up because I was ready to get that shrine over with, or that puzzle over with. But um, yeah, the game is really fun, and I recommend it to anyone who wants to get a Nintendo Switch or a Switch Lite. It's more fun when you have a Switch than a Switch Lite. The only thing I had an issue with, so my controller kind of has like, yeah, I got a refurbished Nintendo Switch, and I can see why it's refurbished, even though it's refurbished. The Joy-Con, it still has the Joy-Con mishap that people have been talking about for Nintendo Switch, where the Joy-Con toggle will, when it'll move your character, or move your character in any game to the left on its own, and it's annoying. And some of the puzzles you had to use the controller to move, they called it an asparagus, but you had to, or apparatus. It was an apparatus. You had to do this with the controller to get the puzzle to move, and it was annoying because I had to switch back to that controller. At first, I just pulled out the Switch and used it, but then I ended up realizing that I could just use the Nintendo Switch controller that it comes with, because I use my own controller for it that I bought. It's made for the Nintendo Switch. I thought I could use my Xbox controller, but it's not compatible. But yeah, they have like a Pro controller that's wireless, but I'm like, why buy a Pro when you can just buy a wired controller for like $40 less? Like, that's 40 extra dollars that you could use on a game or something else, like storage. That's one thing I had to get when I first bought it. I instantly bought storage because I already knew that 32 gigabytes was not enough storage for that Nintendo Switch, especially for me and the games I bought. The games I bought are like, especially Zelda is a heavy duty game, or even Super Smash Bros. Is a heavy duty game. But yeah, other than that, I've been enjoying the game, and it's like I said, it's like a Netflix show, or if I didn't say it to me, it's kind of like a Netflix show. You want it to end because you want to see what happens at the end, but you know that there's no post-season, so you're just like, shoot, I don't want it to end. That's kind of like Zelda. You want it to end, but at the same time you want to keep enjoying the game for what it is, because it's actually such a good game. That's why I miss Assassin's Creed, because I love open world games like that just draw you in. But I beat Assassin's Creed, and I beat all the DLCs, so it's like there's nothing for me to do. I mean, they have new online challenges you can do, but I'm like, I'm not interested in that. I ended up having to delete it off my Xbox because it took up so much gigabyte data. And I would get Red Dead 2, but my little brother got it, and there's a lot. It's kind of a slow progressing game. Look at me touching my face, being bad. But hey, I'm not around anyone, so oh well. And I have hand sanitizer right on my console. But yeah. Other than that, as far as coronavirus, Trump's trying to open the economy up May 1st, but I doubt that's gonna be realistic. And yeah, I'm just getting used to living life the way it is. And as far as my schooling goes, well, my instructor, who is the program director for air conditioning for Gwinnett Tech, he told me that, he told us that, hold on. He told us that we basically had two options. Option one is, I'll go with option two because it's easier to say. Option two was that we could just withdraw from our courses by April 17th. And I'm like, no. Not wasting all this time, and it's probably going to impact my financial aid if I do that. And option one, which is most students are going to do, he said, option one is complete all required assignments. And then I asked him about finals, and he said we're going to be doing finals, but it's online. So complete all required assignments, and then the class will still be incomplete, considered incomplete as far as the status. And when the school reopens, we'll finish those classes. We'll finish the classes because of the labs because the labs is part of the grade. But yeah. Alright, I'm done filming this video. I tried to make it like 10 minutes, but I knew I was going to go over because Zelda has so much to talk about. And there's still a lot of things to talk about with Zelda. But anyway, I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace out.